Lunchbox is brought to you by Visit Lauderdale Food and Wine Festival, now with events throughout the year.
Hold the Mayo. It's time for Mike Mayo's Lunchbox. Find out what's being served with Mike, Defo and Lubie, the only show that covers food, sports, and the proper maintenance of your car. And now, a man who had the distinction of having an entire health clinic named in his honor, Mike Mayo.
I want the flim flam sauce with the awesome fave, with shafafa on the side.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Mike Mayo's Lunchbox, or as Lubie wants it to be known, the Lunchbox. We're at Wicked Cheesesteaks.
I'm saying the Mike Mayo experience.
Well, no,
I do not believe at this point, after 3 years of doing this, or close to it.
Can you believe it's been 3 years?
This is a broad enough description of what's happening here. I think it's the Mike Mayo experience.
Well,
and I was the guy that came up with Mike Mayo's Lunchbox.
You did.
We were in a hasty position to come up with a name for the show, and it seemed appropriate. But I think it's more of an experience. It's much more of a lavish experience.
Joe
now.
Rogan uses experience, and I don't want to be known as ripping off Joe Rogan.
That's it. Yeah,
I think Lunchbox is perfect. You also coined the phrase "gambling gourmet,"
which would be cool if you wanted to go by that. Yeah.
Jim Sarney is here with us at the Wicked Cheesesteaks.
A skinny Jim Sarney. I'm hoping that's not the bad health diet.
He has
like a good health diet.
I don't know. Is it a weekly notes column, a daily notes column? But he actually gave the Gambling Gourmet a mention and the Lunchbox a mention about my going off about the chestnut parlay the other day. Joey Chestnut,
very successful,
and BC from Chestnut Hill, the area of Boston where they hail from. That would have been a healthy parlay to get.
Well, you were laying 10-1 on Joey Chestnut. It was a 1 to 10.
No, it was 1 to 10, but giving the spread of 12.5 dogs, it comes out more. It was like a minus 150.
The spread,
the 12.5 dog spread that I said on Friday, I think you would get minus 130 on that. You do a parlay with
that would have worked.
It would have worked.
Well, you had to be getting a big number if you bet Boston College on the money line. My God.
What was it? Plus, Lubie might know that.
I don't know the money line. I mean,
17 points is like maybe 5-6 to 1.
Getting like 16.
It would probably be a
17.
plus 500.
You made a lot of
I didn't ask my daughter. Thankfully, she's not a degenerate like us.
No.
And her only interest.
Maybe she'll become one though. She's in college now.
She did the wise thing. Apparently, okay. So this was her kind of first home game experience. She got a ticket online through the student lottery.
You don't automatically get tickets when you pay tuition? Get out of here.
You pay tuition.
It's free,
maybe a little bit
you
of
have
a fee.
to go get the tickets.
You have to go register, and they can't give tickets to every student to every game because it's just supply and demand. So each gets an allotment where they can go to at least 2, but some of the more popular games you got to put in for a lottery type system. Anyway, she got a ticket for the Monday night game.
Wins the lottery?
First home game on campus since she's a student, and she did the wisest thing of all. She did so much partying during the pre-gaming and the tailgating at all the different frat houses and sororities and who knows what.
Good to know she's already abandoned all of her
She passed out. Like she just went back to her dorm room and said, I'm going to skip the game. It was a great game to skip.
Yeah,
so
it's like Lubie and I were discussing this. I told my son when I dropped him off at UCF, I said, son, 2 things. Lower your standards and realize there will never be another 5 years like this again.
Yes.
So make sure you have the time.
I did the 5-year plan because I had the extra year because I needed to keep my full-time student status in order to maintain my paid internship at the Boston Globe Sports Department, which is one of the finest places to work.
Oh, yeah.
And to get a start. I mean, Sarney spent time, I think, as a Nighthawk.
I think he ran the Boston Globe.
We called it the Nighthawks, with the group of paid interns that mainly from Northeastern University, a couple from UMass Boston. I was the first one ever, and probably the last from Tufts, because I was such a wise ass. I managed to annoy all the guys on the desk. I would purposely
managed to annoy people.
A couple of guys on the desk, big Bruins fans, and every time the Bruins played the Rangers, I would show up in my Rangers jersey and just taunted the desk.
It fit a lot better back then.
Yeah. Oh, definitely
fit you then. Yeah.
And I heard
when you were at that time to shenanigans.
I was like
it's
a sausage.
still part of the intro to the show where you're pictured in the.
I was a
Rangers
sausage stuffed in that Ranger jersey casing.
Great. Hardly Roger Bear.
Not a good look.
That point,
but nevertheless, we play it every time that we have the shenanigans ad. But no, and you were mentioning, look, it's U.S. Open tennis season. You were mentioning the other day the great Bud Collins, the great Collini.
Oh, Collins is great. What
he
a
was
nice
the
man, too.
nicest
Yeah.
guy. I mean, in the sports department of the Globe, there was
Back
all
then,
these
it was, like,
big stars,
ridiculous.
superstar, heavy hitters. It was like the first wave of print journalists crossing over to TV.
Yep.
It was basically encouraged there because
Will
Vince
McDonough was
Doria,
one of those guys.
yeah, Vince Doria,
Yeah.
who eventually went to ESPN, but he recognized that it was better for his staff to be able to be doing TV because A, they would get a paycheck from somebody else, so they wouldn't have to get paid as much,
True.
and B, it would increase their visibility and also
They understood
overall
branding. Early people
credibility.
understood branding. Yeah.
Leslie Visser,
Yes.
Bud Collini, Bud
Yeah.
Collins,
Was Mitch Albom
Will
one of those guys, or
McDonough
no?
was
was
the
a Globe. He was a
NFL
Detroit guy.
columnist for the Globe. Peter Gammons,
Oh, the
Gammons,
lip. Yeah.
Gammons.
and like McDonough.
Lupica, you left down Lupica, right? Wasn't
Lupica was not.
No,
he was
not.
He was
a
Daily News.
intern
Wasn't he
at the
Daily News?
Globe,
Okay.
I think, when he went to BC. But he, of course, by then was a superstar at the New York papers. He skipped around to all of them. But
Yeah.
Ron Borges, one of my favorites.
Ron Borges,
I love that guy.
boxing guy.
Yeah.
No, there was a great,
The great
crew.
baseball writer that was here. Wasn't he in
Dan
Boston?
Shaughnessy.
Shaughnessy.
Dan
obviously.
Shaughnessy. Lee Montville was a great columnist.
Montville
No,
was
but that's not the
fantastic.
guy who came down.
What was the guy that was
oh,
here?
Gordon
Gordon
Eads.
Eads.
Gordon Eads.
Gordon
Wasn't
Eads.
Eads a Globe guy? Yeah.
He was
He was
great.
a Globe guy.
What a nice
He's
man,
a
too.
Boston guy.
That was crazy. Their staff was nuts.
And it was an incredible staff. But like Will McDonough, he was up here, and his head, he couldn't. I looked exactly like another intern, a Italian kid named Sabino, and he would always call me Sabino. He didn't know me apart from the other guy. But Bud Collins, he would take an interest in everybody.
He was
Wow.
terrific.
He was so funny and generous.
If he just met you, you felt like you'd known him your entire life, or he made you feel that way, that you should be completely comfortable, regardless of his superstar status.
He is definitely missed. Oh, look at it.
Look
Brian
at
has
him,
gotten
man.
out of the
Wow.
weeds,
Wow.
and we've got a couple of slices of pizza. It's good. He's slammed. I was
I
going to
know.
make a joke and say this was the pre-Yom Kippur edition of the lunchbox because we're going to be fasting today. He's so busy with his Uber Eats and his regular customers. It's so good.
I love seeing it. It
because
makes me so happy.
I think people are settling back into the fall season,
They are.
and people go to their usual lunch spots. They're not vacationing anymore. Maybe we'll have a Messy sighting soon or something. I
Oh,
don't
that'd
know.
be funny.
Could be good. No,
I'm
it
actually
was
here when
good
it
over the
comes.
weekend, Labor Day weekend. A lot of people were out spending money. The
You're
Mustang
good.
was at Fishtails, and
I'm good.
they had a preview of their block party for the Labor Day weekend.
Nice.
And they'll be off like another month now before they do it again. But they were slammed. I mean, unbelievable. And I was lucky enough. This is great because when people are in the restaurant business and they hold like a Labor Day party,
Yeah.
don't plan on getting there before 4 p.m. if they were working the night before.
Okay. Oh yeah,
They were
it's
all
like-
out till 4 a.m. partying the night before. So
Yeah.
sometimes when we go out to even keel and Brad
But
is
the lovely
rolling out
Kathy
of bed at
Bassano
2 o'clock.
says, "Hey, come on in and do a show over there." And you really do need to sample
Yeah,
the
we're in.
meatballs and gravy.
I want to have the
on a
Sunday
Sunday.
gravy there. I
Yeah,
want to
you
try
do.
the
Well,
pizza
fishtails?
at Stinger's
I
is
love
something.
fishtails.
And we're going to have to schedule these like 2 months out now
Yeah,
because
yeah, we're like
we are
thrilled.
so popular. I mean, sponsors are flocking and coming back, and I've got every show basically is penciled in for September. We're working on the October schedule now. It's a exciting time of year because people are, they're getting down to business. It's a presidential campaign year. We got that seriousness. Unfortunately, we do have another school shooting today, which seems to be
that's
another
terrible.
everyday occurrence. A high school
school
in
just started.
Georgia.
Oh,
If you
God.
look up on the screen there, it says at least 2 dead, 4
You know, it's
injured.
really. I mean, it's just
It's disgusting.
It's
I didn't know school was
startling to
back.
say, but you almost shrug your shoulders, and you look and go, "Oh, geez, only 2 dead," which is, I mean, it's a horrifying thought if you think about it.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's become so common, and that is
We've
the scariest thing
become
about it all.
Anesthetized to it. It's just another day in
Yeah,
America.
wow. Okay, yeah.
And
only 2.
because let's face it, if you don't change the gun policies, it's the whole definition of insanity.
More guns for everyone.
If you keep repeating the same thing, and you get the same result, that's the definition of
We don't have to go
insanity.
down that aisle, but yes, I think it's
Yeah.
funny to. We all don't
Not
like
funny.
it.
Not funny.
Funny, ironic, whatever the term. It's strange,
It's
annoying, frustrating, whatever word you want to use. That all of us don't like the result. Wherever you reside in the world politically, no one likes seeing people get shot, let alone children, let alone educators. But what is interesting to me is what happens before that, right? Like the fact that some want to do stuff and some want to do nothing. And it's like, okay,
We're not
when
going to solve anything.
when in life do you do nothing and go, oh, things are going to change?
Right.
That's weird to me.
We just duck and cover. It's kind of like the
That's
old
weird.
nuclear drills when we were in elementary school.
Yeah, we don't do those anymore. They now do
Yeah,
active
they
shooter
do
drills.
the shooter drills. It's sad. You know what's funny is the way I just burned my entire lip on
No,
the
you can
hot
see it's
cheese
hot.
dripping
Defo's not
down.
even near
Exactly,
his. There's a reason
Portnoy,
Defo's leaving his alone.
when it comes to handling it.
Don't
Well,
say-
I didn't want to dive in on that, Louie, because you were
That's
left
all
out
yours.
here. So
Enjoy it. That's
at
all
the
yours.
worst, I was going to cut it. in
No,
half.
no,
You know,
you
you could tear it in half.
Brian has plenty of food. I'm sure if I really want something,
Sonny cut his in half. I thought he was going to offer you half.
You know,
I
the
don't
name of
think
the
half
place
of it.
is Wicked Cheesesteaks and Pizza and
which
Wings.
is, I'm glad that they have that in the title because it's dessert.
4824 North Federal Highway in Fort Lauderdale, right across from Holy Cross Hospital, right at south of Commercial Boulevard. And don't sleep on the pizza.
Pizza's
as the kids
underrated.
say.
Look,
Underrated
I
as
actually
a
like hot
place.
pizza,
Yeah.
but if you're doing a show where
Louie,
you
get
need to
in on this.
talk, it's okay.
And
eat
you
it. I'll
like
get
this
pizza.
Defo. It has that little rivulet of
It
the
does
I'm
have
not a
oil.
folder, though. I'm not a folder of
You're
pizza.
not a folder.
Isn't
No,
that
no, I don't
interesting?
like to fold pizza.
I fold like a cheap
Oh, yeah,
tent
that's a
in
New Yorker
Boston.
thing, right?
Oh, I
it
fold.
might be in New York.
I never did that.
It's like a pizza
I
sandwich.
feel like
you
you
might have
lose
to
half
do a
the
big
pizza
bite
to
on
me.
this.
There is rationale behind it.
What's easier to eat, right?
Because
On the
when
Subway
you
or
get
something?
a fresh hot slice out of the oven, as these are, and they're delicious, by the way, and he uses the good grande cheese, which is
does.
essential for the
Yep.
quality cheese slice. When it's hot out of the oven, if I eat it like this, I'm going to
You're
just
burning
scald
more.
the roof of my mouth. When you do the fold,
It's
you
less
get the
burny.
protection from the outer layers, and then you
Is this why people
bite
do
in,
that?
and then the cheese squirts out.
Are you going
And
to
then it
shovel it
burns
all
you.
in?
I think you still
There you
get
go.
it hot though. That protects
No,
you from
that's just
having
the
it.
way
You're
you do
never
it.
taking off a piece of your finger when you do that move?
No.
All right.
Meanwhile, Jim Sarney, who's in the house today,
Yes.
Sonny's
Um,
getting a lot of attention
he's a
and love
big
on this
wicked
show.
guy.
My God.
but he sent me something this morning that was actually useful because I used it in the group.
Uh-oh.
Some internet site or publication did a roundup of their top 50 breakfast cereals of all time.
They got up to 50.
That's a lot.
There's that
I don't know
many.
how you get to 50. I mean,
I usually do
Five
like
would
top
be
five.
plenty.
well,
Yeah,
that's what I did. I basically then threw it out to the
Three,
group.
maybe.
I linked to the article, and then I said I gave my top 5 as a kid and my top 5 now.
Interesting.
And my top 5 as a kid.
How much
was,
did they change? I mean, you
Did
had
it
all
change like a
sugar
lot?
in there.
Yeah,
as a
I
kid.
was top 5 as a
Sugar
kid
Pops?
was all
That had to
sugary.
be one. Yeah.
And now you actually
It
put
was
other stuff in there?
basically, I think it was Captain Crunch with Crunch Berries. It
Hey.
was Fruit Loops, the corn pop things,
Yeah, they're
what was the other one? The
Fruity Pebbles. I love Fruity
I
Pebbles.
was a Frosted Flakes guy. I like
Frosted
Frosted
Flakes,
Flakes, and then
Frosted Flakes were good.
Solid.
super sugar crisp, the one with the
I
Now,
like
was the
that.
criteria served with
Yeah.
milk or just eat it out of the box? How much did that factor in? Could you
They
eat it
didn't
with
s-
nothing?
I always eat
just
it with
straight out of
For
the box.
me as a kid, I always had it with milk.
milk. Yeah.
But and then I did my top 5 now, which is the watch your sugar, watch your blood pressure, Mike, and
Oh,
it
you
was
actually do put those cereals in?
Cheerios, Special K, more Cheerios, oatmeal, which I don't really like, and then
Oh my
that chocolatey
Is
delight,
oatmeal in that category,
consider
though? I
that
think we're
cereal?
talking
No,
about
it's
like
not
box
even.
cereal.
Yeah, it's box cereal. and then the chocolatey delight Special K, which is I call that my cheat
Yeah.
treat. Now.
Well,
It has-
how come Raisin Bran didn't get more love? I like Raisin Bran as a kid, and I still do.
See, I like Raisin Bran. You don't like Raisin Bran?
Raisin Bran.
when you say Raisin Bran, I immediately crack up because I went to a camp where there was a kid,
But it was a
and
great cereal.
with
I thought it was a
apologies
really
to
good
Neil
cereal.
Winter, he had a phobia of Raisin Bran.
What do you mean?
And he was deathly afraid of Raisin Bran, and
What does that
people
mean?
used
Afraid
to
of it?
torture him
What does that
by
mean?
throwing Raisin Bran at him. For some reason, Raisin Bran
What are you
reminded
scared of?
him
It's
of
just
death.
food.
The little shriveled up raisins
Okay.
he associated with dead things.
What?
That happens more when you're older, when you think of little shriveled up raisins.
Exactly.
I think of other things when I think
That's
of little
what
shriveled
Defo's
up
saying.
things, but
That's what
that's
Defo's
after
saying.
I go in the cold shower. But
You're scared of raisins.
No,
No,
Neil
Raisin Bran was
Winter.
a great cereal.
Oh
I
my
mean,
God.
it had everything you needed. It was
and
supposedly
it-
healthy.
and
too.
instead
Yes.
of it is, and it's a good cereal.
It's a good
It had
cereal.
sugar
just-
in it, a lot of sugar.
But I just crack up because, and with apologies to Neil Winter, wherever he is now. But like instead of being sensitive or saying, "Oh, just kind of
No,
like,"
not. What was it? The 70s?
we went right at him in the
In the
mid '70s
60s?
at
You're
a
not
Boy
doing
Scout
that.
camp.
Don't
We're
let that go to waste.
we're
They
we're,
for-
we're
eat it.
buying
It's-
Raisin Bran by the box and just like throwing it at him, dumping it on his bed every day when he comes back to the lean-to. It was it's cruel and it's sick, but
All right, so
that
what
was
were your
life in the
five now?
70s.
Okay, so you went with all simplicity, although
Oh,
so
yeah.
you got to avoid the sugar there, Mike Mayo.
well,
That's
now
the problem.
that's why I broke
What
it
about
down.
grape
It's a-
nuts? Did grape nuts ever factor in? Those were one of those things like broccoli
See,
that your parents used to foist on you, my mother, and say, this is good for you. Why don't you try this? And then there was this illusion that it was really good for you when Jim Fix was hawking the cereal. And then Fix checked out, and it became a big joke that, well, geez, this guy's eating grape nuts all day. And look, he died at like 57 while he was jogging.
Right.
So
there's no point being healthy.
it took
Well, it's
it
not
took that
that
whole argument to another level. But Yeah, I would say Raisin Bran would have to be one of them if I was going to.
Oh, Lucky
then
Charms.
and now.
What did you think about Lucky
like Lucky
Charms?
Charms.
Wasn't a huge fan.
It's okay.
See, when I was a kid, I went all for the high sugar.
Yeah, the
Sugar
Yeah.
Pops and Frosted Flakes were great. I
Captain
mean, for,
Crunch with Crunch Berries. Lucky Charms. I
Yeah.
like Lucky Charms. I like the little marshmallow.
Yeah, the marshmallows
ones.
are nice.
I like the way it made my milk turn green. I thought I had
well,
moldy milk.
the
Oreo, Fruit Loops,
not Oreo.
Frosted Flakes, Corn Pops. and I
Cocoa
did-
Pops didn't get any love.
I like Cocoa Puffs. The problem with me is I was like a real chocoholic, and I thought all those cereals had such fake artificial chocolate flavors,
Oh, it
like
wasn't good enough
Count
for you?
Chocula and the Cocoa Puffs.
Yeah.
It just was lame. I would just rather make a Fox's You Bet chocolate milk or egg cream. If
How'd
I
you
wanted
feel
my
about
chocolate-
Ovaltine? Just on the
Sucked.
side.
I mean, it wasn't good.
Wasn't
right?
that the worst
Wasn't
thing
it
ever?
was
the
worst.
Who came up
It
with
was-
Ovaltine?
Midwesterners. It
Oh,
was just one of
that
those
just
things like
feels very-
Fox's You
Exasperating,
Bet
yeah,
is a
it was
very it was actually a family. I think that was Jewish. It was kosher syrup and all that stuff. And it's like for some reason I
Wow,
associate
what a
it with
gentleman.
Brooklyn.
Wow.
And whereas like
You don't need a
Hershey's syrup didn't have the better flavor, the good flavor, but it was acceptable. But Ovaltine was just
Ovaltine was
Ovaltine's rough. Yeah,
Oh,
Ovaltine's
Um,
rough.
now that we're into the beverage part, I want to talk about top 5 diet beverages of all time.
I can't.
This
You guys
right
are making
here,
diet drinks more, and the professor's been eating a little bit healthier.
I'm trying to avoid the real sugars because my doctors say
You made
that's
diet
better.
more interesting because you
And
guys are drinking it all the
The
time.
diet. I've got a can right here of the Diet Dr. Brown's cream soda.
Yeah, you and Defo seem to
among the
love
best diet sodas.
It
no doubt.
is definitely in my Diet Dr. Pepper, Diet Dr. Brown's cream, some of these Diet Root.
This is phenomenal.
That's a
I
boiling-
wasn't that familiar with it, but it's a diet root beer.
Boiling,
And if
Doc.
this is a diet soda, it's. I love Dr. Brown's. The black cherry is always great.
Mm.
Dr. Brown's diet cherry.
Diet cherry, diet cream.
Good,
just
but
like
this Mayo Man, you really need to try this.
I've had
because
that. Yeah,
as a diet soda.
Yep.
It is
Boiling.
absolutely incredible.
they're
You can't believe that it's a diet soda.
they're one of these craft soda companies, and that's one of the things here that Brian prides himself. He has a full root beer collection of both sugars and diet sodas, but from around the country, all these different root beers and other great craft sodas. The Boylan brand, I don't know where it's from, but their claim to fame is they use real cane sugar, none of that high fructose corn syrup crap. And it's good stuff. I mean, the diet, they must use the Splenda, the sucralose, because that has less of a bitter
Maybe it's
aftertaste.
distributed out of New York, but it
It's-
has a New York destination.
York
Boylan
address. Boylan's.
Bottling Company.
Yeah, it
New
fills
York.
NY. It fills NY. What do you?
It's good. It's
New
a
York, New York, right
good
out of the city.
product.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got top 5 diet sodas. We got top 5 cereals.
So
Lube-
what about Lubie and the cereal?
I love Fruity Pebbles. I don't know why. I know it's not
I
great,
don't know
but
why
I just
either.
loved it. I
You
don't
probably
know.
like Pop Rocks as a kid too.
Pop Rocks are weird, but I like Fruity Pebbles. I love Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Those are 1 and 1A for me.
Speaking of
And then the milk after was always fantastic.
Cinnamon Toast Crunch,
Yeah.
that in this publication, whoever it was, I've never heard of it. They proclaim that Cinnamon Toast Crunch the best cereal
Yeah,
of
it's
all
the best.
time.
What about Fruit Loops? Where do they rank?
Number
Fruit-
4.
I didn't
Go
like
on.
the consistent. Like Fruit Loops would be there, but the consistency of it, and what like I would rather be more like a Cheerio held up in the milk. The Fruit Loops would like get really soggy, like really easy.
Now,
And that was like annoying to me.
As far as my current lineup, I mean, it's basically Cheerios and Special K, and I cut up fresh
I love
fruit.
Special K red berries and then adding fruit. And that's
Yeah,
a
the problem
nice-
with the red berries and the fruit and yogurt ones, you look at the sugars in there, it's almost
a
as
lot of
bad as the
sugar,
other one.
yeah.
And I'm trying to cut down on the sugar. And that's why you mentioned like grape nuts.
Yeah.
I like the flavor, but it's a lot of sugar. I also
That's
like
annoying.
the
Really? Grape nuts? So long
honey,
sugar?
That's so weird
honey
that has a lot of
bunches
sugar.
of oats. Also,
I like Honey
has-
Nut Cheerios. Honey Nut Cheerios was one I liked then and now.
and now I'm just having the plain cereals, and I cut up my fresh fruit because fresh fruit
Yeah,
is
fruit.
allowed in my world. Because I'm so, I'm
Health
such
and-
a
yeah, your health nut.
paragon of health, and
Yeah.
I'm so disciplined every day,
Yeah.
avoiding the things
You
I
only
should
eat a
be
quarter
eating.
of the pizza that you'll finish right now.
Yeah. Maybe I'll one bite it.
There you go.
Let's you know what, I'm going to talk about a place I was in last night. I had a happy hour experience, Tropical Acres, and
Whoever poured that martini was an expert.
Oh, that,
I mean,
that
it was
drink
right
looked
to the brim of the
fantastic.
glass, and it looked like they didn't spill a drop.
no,
that looks
and
And
I
you
was
had the olives floating right there,
I
Mayo.
was sitting right there at the bar, and it was Tony. He's a relatively newcomer. He's 25 years old. He used to work as a server or a food runner, and then when there was an opening, he took it. He was like the Lou Gehrig and the Wally Pipp, but he just went right in there and has become one of the VIPs at the bar there. Tony made a perfect $8 Belvedere Bloody Mary,
Nice.
half
Wow.
price. it was buzzing at the bar as it usually is. And yeah, it's great to see, the place is hopping, getting ready for fall. And I went in there and I also saw the back office, and they said, "What is going on your group?" All of a sudden today, we started getting calls for Thanksgiving reservations. And I was
Oh,
like,
really?
yeah,
I
I
was
was
Tell
like-
me they're closed.
No, we brought it up.
of
Remember, we
course
brought it
they're
up.
open. It's one
Yeah.
of their
He
biggest
brought it up
days of the
yesterday.
year. But the thing is, there's now some of these, like, I don't know, you call them anal retentive people, very organized people. I call them optimists because I don't know if I'm going to be around by November 23rd. But the Thanksgiving, some people like to plan in advance, and they're asking already on the group, where can we go? Where should we go for a good Thanksgiving dinner? And a couple of people suggest Tropical Acres. And yeah, you could give them a call today to get
I
on the
love that.
books.
That's funny.
954-989-2500. That's make a reservation for this weekend or for Thanksgiving Day. They have all the slots open. They have a great holiday menu. They got the prime rib and, of course, traditional classics like the turkey. 954-989-2500, 2500 Griffin Road in Dania Beach. And you know what I forgot yesterday, Defo? Because I have a new car.
Oh,
I had
another
the
card. Jesus.
card. And I
You're
told
impressive.
Tony, I said, I haven't gotten rung up on my card like the last 4 times. Can you get me a card and do
No,
4
don't tell me he
punches on?
punched like 12.
You asked for 4?
Yeah.
Is that
No,
even a thing?
and then you know what happened? He got very busy, and then he couldn't get me any
I was
cards.
going to
So
say, they
said,
probably would believe you, but
I'll
that's
get
ridiculous.
it. I'll get it next time. But we love Tropical Acres, the Studio Alleys. They do a terrific job, and just tell them the Lunchbox sent you.
That's it. I got a mouthful of pizza here. I feel
Okay,
like you.
well-
But you will have more pizza and wings and lobster rolls and cheesesteaks and beyond as we continue our Wicked Cheesesteak Mike Mayo's Lunchbox after this.
Don't sleep on the pine.
One of the best restaurants in Broward, J&C Oyster in downtown Hollywood. At 2035 Harrison Street, this place is fantastic and worth a drive. It's got creative, cutting-edge seafood and more with an Asian twist and gorgeous cocktails. Chefs Raheem Seeley and Monica Dominguez cut their teeth at some of Miami's best restaurants. Don't miss some of these fantastic dishes, including grilled oysters, fried chicken, and the Thai red curry crab. Open Wednesday through Sunday for dinner with daily happy hour and outdoor seating. Go to jncoyster.com for reservations and information. Tell them Mike Mayo's Lunchbox sent you. When I'm looking for some wicked good food for a wicked good lunch, there's only one place to go. That's Wicked Cheesesteaks in Fort Lauderdale. It's at 4824 North Federal Highway, just south of Commercial Boulevard and across from Holy Cross Hospital. My friend Brian there, he will hook you up with some really tasty treats. They've got cheesesteaks, just like the best you can find in Philly, along with lobster rolls, because that's where he's from, Maine originally. And they have wings and pizza and everything you want to have a really good time. Wicked Cheesesteaks, they're open every day but Tuesday. Check them out online, wickedcheesesteaks.com. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you. If you're looking for a great place for steaks, seafood, and more, go to Tropical Acres Steakhouse and Butcher Shop. It's at 2500 Griffin Road in Dania, just west of I-95 and the airport. They've been there a long time, since 1949. That means they're doing something right. You'll get old school hospitality from the Studiali family, along with great value, tremendous service. Of course, you could also go into the bar for happy hour every day, 4 to 6, and they have great value all night long. Also, a butcher shop that's open every day from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. except Sunday. The dining room is open every day at 4:30 except Sunday. Go to Tropical Acres. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you. A little further inland, Luke's Seafood and Grill. That's Luke's with a C. 5511 South University Drive in Davie. Luke and Roxy, they're a great couple with great food. It's a mom and pop shop bringing the freshest fish and seafood to Western Broward. Some of the best jambalaya and fish cakes around. And Scooby-Dooby-Doo, where are you? You can find his famous Scoobies, those sauteed crab claws, right there on the specials board most days. Oh, so good. So take a trip to University just north of Sterling today. Lunch, dinner, closed on Mondays. Tell them Mike Mayo's Lunchbox sent you. When people come to me and say, Mike, where should I go out to eat? I got guests coming from out of town. Where should we go? Cafe Seville. That's the answer. 2768 East Oakland Park Boulevard. It's a Fort Lauderdale perennial, serving the finest in Spanish and continental cuisine in a cozy, friendly, comfortable setting. Joey Esposito and Sally, his better half, they've been running the place for a long time. It's been open since the 1980s. They got great Spanish classics like paella, shrimp with garlic sauce, and all kinds of great seafood dishes. The stuffed veal chop, That's my favorite. Go to Cafe Seville. It's open every day but Sunday at 5 p.m. for dinner. Tell them that the Lunchbox Mayo and Defo sent you. Do you like burgers? Do you like wings? Do you like late night food and sports on big screen TVs and cold beer and friendly vibe and great people? Then you want to check out Shenanigans, 1300 South Federal Highway in Dania Beach. Go to Shenanigans, you get yourself all the good stuff, the fresh fish every day, the black and grilled wings, and of course the kitchens are open late. Go there, tell them that the Lunchbox Mayo and Defo sent you. Caught me unawares.
Like I
there,
used the
Lou.
term coming back,
Yeah.
and you always
It
think
used
that
to-
means
No, I'm so
I have 3 minutes
distracted.
left.
Brian, first of all, he was slammed. He was as grumpy as me before a show when we first walked in because I guess they just were in the weeds. But it's great. They got a lot of business and through the Uber Eats and all
Yeah, I
that
love it.
stuff. And I think they're down a staff person. He didn't
Yeah,
have
they didn't
his
have help.
usual line cook. But now I was distracted during the break because he's got a new special product here. It's the chopped cheese,
Did Defo get his?
which has
You gotta
become
try
all
it.
the rage among the kids. It's basically like sloppy Joe. It never used to be a thing
So
in
it's
New
not
York.
like a because to me it feels like a cheesesteak.
Well,
Doesn't look like a sloppy Joe to me.
Just
it's like
Sloppy
the-
Joe has tomato
Right, it's
based.
it's basically a ground beef version.
Okay, so it's
of a-
not
of
ribeye.
a
Is that what it
cheese-
is? So you use ground beef. Okay,
Yeah, either ground.
which is
chop.
fine. I'm not mad about it. I'm just curious because it looks and tastes very
Now,
similar
I would
to
try to
a
do a
cheesesteak.
big bite of this, except right
Make it
now it's
disgusting.
extremely hot. And
Give it a minute before
Defo
you
would start
dive
making
in. Yeah.
his, comments about how it resembles certain products or
that are justified.
what is it? Materials, not materials.
Oh,
about
oh, I might have to take this call.
dog something. Well, go ahead.
That's
Go-
fine,
go
take your
do
call.
what you got to do.
We're good.
We're gonna eat our chopped cheese here in a minute.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not gonna big bite it. I'm just gonna.
Take a bite. Yeah, it looks ridiculous.
Oh, it's nice. Lettuce, tomato. I don't know if he puts. I think it's some mayonnaise in it. And it used to be a Bronx
There's some
bodega.
kind of a. I don't think it's straight up mayonnaise though. Maybe
Yeah,
I
it
might-
is. It's mayonnaise.
Okay.
Or maybe cheese.
I was gonna
and
say
mayo.
an aioli or something like that. Like
Well, if you want to call it aioli, is mayonnaise.
I know,
it's just
I
a
know,
fancy
but
word
like a
for it.
fancier mayonnaise.
It's good. It's a different texture than the traditional cheesesteak. And again, it never used to be a thing in New York when I was growing up. Oh, that's
I would-
definitely mayonnaise.
Okay,
I know
I'm not
because
fighting you. I'm
just smelling it, it makes me want to dab it on the back of my ears like
there
the
you go, like your
the
Will Levis.
wildly popular
Yeah,
Will Beavis.
Will
Beavis,
Levis.
Beavis,
Will
Levis,
Levis.
Levis,
Yes,
Levi's jeans.
Will Levis.
And he just dabs a little dab will do you of the mayonnaise cologne, and the women, the chicks just go crazy.
Yeah, they
But,
love it. Supposedly sold out. Our friend over here, Sarni, said,
cheese and
"I'd rather
mayonnaise.
you not do that, though."
Anyway, it started in the bodegas of Bronx in the 1970s, the chopped
Okay,
cheese,
okay.
and then all of a sudden it exploded in popularity, and it's everywhere now because of TikTok, which
Yeah,
I
it's gotten big
consider
with
one of the
TikTok.
worst things on earth because it just like makes these trends go viral, and then everybody's got to, oh, I got to go get a chopped cheese, and now you could get one here, and it's a worthy one.
Yeah, I love
So thank you to Brian for that.
Yep.
Everything okay, Defo? The test came back negative, I hope.
It was, I had to change an appointment at the Imperial Point Hospital.
Yes.
So now all of a sudden it seemed like they were calling me because I wasn't supposed to be there today.
Oh, jeez.
Like they didn't get the message about the change.
Didn't you once go to a doctor's appointment and they said, "Oh no, you're not supposed to be here"?
Yeah,
today. Get
I
out.
had that. They sent me a dozen reminders to come, and then I didn't have an appointment that day.
Is this
when
what I
got
have
there.
to look forward to when I?
But it's not him.
I
though. That's
haven't
not
really
him.
been going to many doctors. Actually, I had to blow this off because I forgot that I needed to take a blood test first. I had like 4 months to make this appointment, and she said, "Well, just get it any time in between." Of course, I never did, so I had to push this thing off for a couple of weeks. I don't mind going. You know what? It just go ahead, give me the thumbs up. They don't make the faces that they used to, which is good. And whatever problems I had seem to have dissipated to the point where they're not a problem anymore. So feeling pretty good. But they definitely need to fix their appointment booking system. Because if you cancel an appointment, they still expect you to show up for the one that you were originally going to be scheduled for.
Do they charge you or Medicare? Or something?
You know what? I don't care. Medicare, thank
Of course
goodness.
not.
Vote for Kamala because we want Medicare,
Forever.
the greatest
for all,
medical system
forever.
ever. I was just talking to a friend of mine who used to be a program director. He just qualified for Medicare.
Just got
And I said,
65, the promised land.
yeah, I said, look, I mean, doctors that used to tell you, call us back in 6 months and we might have something a year from now.
100%.
Right.
Now send a limousine to your door before you hang up the phone. They're there.
which shows
because
you
they know they're getting paid.
why Medicare is in
Exactly.
such great financial shape.
Well, at least
It's
they know
gonna
they're
be
getting
gone
paid.
by
I
the
mean,
time we get there,
it's rough. My
Lubie.
friend who I play tennis with is a doctor, and I tell you what, these insurance companies, you think they squeeze the patient, they squeeze the doctors too. So,
Oh no, it's everybody's getting squeezed
Yeah.
like toothpaste. I got 7 years till I reach the promised land, and I'm sure by the time I reach 65,
well, that's a
they're
losing
gonna
crop.
completely
They're gonna
jump
wave
the
that off.
system. Yeah, they're gonna say nope, it's 70 now. You
Well, if the
another-
Trumpster gets in, pre-existing conditions will eliminate you from qualifying for Medicare. So, if you had ever took
Ever a cold.
any medication of any type, you're out.
If Trump gets in, I think death would be a good alternative.
No, Mexico. I think. Would be,
All right, let's get back to sandwiches because it's a topic.
so, how
I've been-
was this? What did you say?
I like it.
For you.
If
There
I was
is
going to
ketchup if
critique
you
it
want
for
ketchup.
Brian,
No.
I'd say it's a little too much mayonnaise on here,
Oh,
a
and
little too
they
much.
could use a little
mayonnaise.
more like sazon, like some of that seasoning, Latin flavor, or
Is
maybe
that
a
what they do? I don't
paprika
know what
thing.
people do with it, but I like it.
It needs a little bit of a zip kind of
Okay.
like a red pepper, not red pepper, but like a paprika or sazon.
what's funny is the seasoning.
Well, they have their own hot sauce here.
They have
oh
the hot
yeah,
sauce.
I would
hot
spritz
sauce
some
would
of
be
that on
good.
there.
Hot
Yeah.
sauce would probably help.
You can
out.
make an adjustment with this.
All right, before I'll do that on the next break,
I'll
but
get
I
to
want
hot
to talk
sauce.
about Cuban sandwiches, gentlemen. Because
Oh, and I had
Whatever
an
happened
experience
with
with
that?
one too.
okay, well, the Sun Sentinel just recently conducted and concluded their search for the best Cuban sandwich
Oh, they
in
did
South
conduct-
Florida.
They finished it. Okay.
We didn't really talk about it while it was ongoing, but there is a result, and it's a good one because, like I was saying, this was the one time where if they did not have a 305
It's gotta be Miami.
finalists or winner, then there might be like
Riots
the
on the
alien
street,
type
yeah.
protest, pot banging people shutting down the Rickenbacker or Julia Tuttle causeways, and well, lo and behold. There were some worthy finalists, including friends at Padrino's, which is a local chain here in
Been
Broward
top
now.
notch since the inception.
Yeah, but they did list and include as finalists two, and one of them is this place that I still haven't been to, but I've heard nothing but great things, and it looks fantastic. It's called Sandwich,
Okay, yeah, I saw that.
Sanguich, which is like the Cuban
Well, like
version of
last day we'll call it
sandwich.
sandwich.
And it used to be just known as Sandwich de Miami. There's 3 locations now. The original one is on Calle Ocho. There's another one down in Coral Gables, and they have like a little pickup only stop stand up in Little Haiti. But Sandwich de Miami was voted the best Cuban sandwich in South Florida by the readers of the Sun Sentinel. So it showed that they do across the border, so to speak, or
There
go
you go.
across the
Yes, the county
305
lines, yeah.
moat. But I wanted to just talk about the Cuban sandwich in that I think it's essential that it must be flat, elegant, pressed,
Where?
and that means using the sliced pork along with the sliced ham, not the crumbly pulled lechon asado.
Yeah.
Now, you said you had a recent
Oh yeah, I
experience?
did actually. On my trip to Melbourne, we ended up at a place that was as I
Cubans in
said,
Melbourne?
well, it was similar
On
to
the
a
way.
Batch Southern Kitchen, and they had a Cuban sandwich on the menu. And I thought, well, geez, I don't want to, go too heavy here, so maybe I'll eat like half a Cuban sandwich, take the rest home, right back to the hotel. And but they made like a spicy, weird variation of it, and it actually had no resemblance whatsoever, except
Really?
in appearance to
Oh,
what you
geez,
would
that's
normally
bad.
expect from a Cuban sandwich.
Chopped
But
cheese is good.
the first time I had a Cuban sandwich, that was really maybe the best experience ever with that. I lived in Coral Gables at the time, and what is it, 32nd Avenue or whatever it is? It might have a regular street name. Latin America Cafeteria.
Yeah, Latin
that
American
was great.
cafeteria.
And
Yep.
I think that was their only location at the time, and they had like 1,000 Cuban sandwiches just about ready to go in the presser, and they sold them just as fast as they made them. It was an incredible place, far and away the best Cuban sandwich I've had here in South Florida. The Latin America Cafeteria. I don't know. I think they might have expanded.
Yeah, they were all
So-
over the place.
But I want to know more about why you would order a Cuban sandwich in the kind of like very white area of Melbourne.
I figure how bad could
How
it
bad
be
could it be?
compared to a normal Cuban sandwich?
It's not
And the
that hard to
answer
make.
is-
Well, it was a radical departure because it was
Was
really
it?
like a spiced up version.
Let me ask you this: was it the Tampa version where they put salami?
No,
It
it
wasn't
just
salami
they
on
made
it?
their own kind of southern style
A
version
southern
of it, I guess.
Cuban.
Yeah, people do that.
I don't know, but
I don't know what that would.
But it definitely would have thrown you off because while it was edible and all that, it wasn't what you were
Did
expecting.
they use pepperoni, or you don't know what?
No
the-
pepperoni. No, it
probably had
just had a
sauces on
big
it and
spice on it,
stuff,
and it didn't look really like your normal assemblage
And
of a
did they
Cuban sandwich.
press it down
It
and
was
cut
pressed
it
down, yeah,
triangles,
yeah,
or-
no,
Trying to think.
cut in half, and But it looked nothing like a Cuban sandwich that you would normally order.
Okay. I guess
It wasn't like you were going to sit there and start screaming, "Hey, what is this?" Some people might have, but I ate it and it was fine.
He goes to Melbourne
Yeah.
and he orders the Cuban sandwich.
Me
Just
too,
like when
whatever,
I went
that's a
to
basic
Nebraska
sandwich.
that one time and ordered the matzo ball soup, and they were a little bit.
I
it
don't know
wouldn't be
that
great there.
you would have expected this though. See, because it didn't really describe it as being a spicy thing. So
Nobody expects the
I'm
Spanish
thinking
Inquisition.
anybody could make this stuff, and the other food that they served was fine. Everybody was very
See,
happy.
it's funny
Yeah.
that to underscore Defo's point, and I don't remember the name of it. There was a bar that was on Oakland and Federal, and I used to go with our friend, the professor. We used to go and our buddy PC, and we would go regularly there. And so it was not Cuban, and it's South Florida, but it was like a bar. It was literally a bar, and they had bar food. And for some reason, they had the greatest Cuban sandwich. The
Oh,
Cuban sandwich was fantastic. And again, there was nothing Cuban about the place, nothing Latin, nothing Spanish. It was burgers, fries, chicken fingers. And for some reason, they gave you this big Cuban sandwich because that's my problem with Cuban sandwiches a lot of time. And I know they have to do the press, but they make it, as we say, chintzy. And I get why they have to press it. It's supposed to be a thinner sandwich, but there's usually not much to a Cuban sandwich a lot of the time. Like this place did it great, but it was not like a Cuban place. So like I've had Cubans at places that weren't like Spanish place. It's just ham and pork and Swiss cheese and
Shouldn't be
yellow
complicated.
yellow
Pickles.
mustard and pickles.
Yellow
Like it's
mustard.
not something that abuela makes. It's not like when I've gone to my Cuban friend's house, they're making Cuban sandwiches.
Well,
So
you need the big press. If you have the big sandwich,
anyone can make a
press,
Cuban sandwich.
Yeah.
I don't know, but that was like my favorite one I've ever had. That place.
There's actually, it was mentioned, I think you posted this on Let's Eat South Florida about the Cuban sandwich competition and what was named the best. People are going to say Versailles. You can't go wrong at some of these places. Southeast 8th Street there, Calle Ocho, going to be okay. You mentioned Padrino's, Latin American
Padrino's makes a
cafeteria.
proper one. Yeah,
But
that's good.
there's actually a gas station on Federal Highway, not far from here. I believe it's a Chevron station, just north of Atlantic, and they have a little Cuban, restaurant
Right.
inside the place,
You get your
which is not
culottes,
really a restaurant; it's
your
all
little-
takeout. And that was mentioned several times
in the group.
as having one of the best Cuban sandwiches.
That's good.
So me and my gas station sandwiches, I always love to find those.
But do they use the sliced roasted?
No,
pork?
I think they kind
They
of
use the
have like
lechon.
what you would consider, and I know you hate this word, but more of the authentic style.
Well, that's not authentic.
Yeah.
I mean, it's lechon asado, and if you're gonna have a lechon asado sandwich, that's fine. It's like pulled pork. It's a crumbly thing, and it started to be used on some Cuban sandwiches by chefs who say, "Oh, well, it's a moister product. It gives it a little bit more fatty flavor. Gives it, that kind of thing." But to me, in my mind, because when I first got down here, you talk about great Cuban sandwiches. The Cuban sandwich at Hialeah Racetrack and at Calder.
Oh yeah, Hialeah.
Hialeah makes a great
and,
Cuban
and
sandwich.
at Calder Racetrack, rest in
Calder
peace,
had a
Calder
good
they had
Cuban
a
sandwich.
great.
They
They
did,
had
yeah.
a really well-worn sandwich press, and the guys knew how to work it. Really get it,
Yeah.
flat and crisp.
That was a good spot for it.
It-
And what was weird was the concessions were not unreasonable at Calder Racecourse by
it's
any
great.
stretch.
Yeah, no.
Well, Hialeah to
Had
this
good
day.
burgers and hot dogs. It was really good for that. The Cuban sandwich was good there.
There's a problem. You see that?
Yeah.
That's a
Yeah,
proper-
I
That's
get
a
it.
nice hefty.
Yeah, that's a nice-
That's how it should look.
that's a nice
the
Cuban sandwich.
variations on the
That's
theme
the-
are what
nobody
ruined
can
it.
see
Yeah.
it.
Yes, that's the problem.
the
Is people get cute with these
sandwich-
sandwiches.
That's the one from the now
The winner?
award-winning
Okay, yeah, that makes
Sandwich de Miami.
And that's
I've
what
got-
it should look like.
That's
Yeah,
what it
that's a
should
Cuban.
look like.
Yeah.
And they fresh roast their own ham and own pork and slice it on a slicer and then press it.
Send that
on
to
the
me. I
press.
can post it up here.
Oh, okay. I'll
So
do that
where's
too.
what locations are there of Latin America cafeteria? You say there were
Left?
several still?
There's several down in Miami in the Westchester area,
Oh, yeah?
right? And along
They still
with-
have the
Oh,
Rock
Latin
Hall
American
Gables, the
used to be
original.
all over.
It was like a standalone place. It was fantastic.
Miami.
Yeah,
But I think it
absolutely
went
great.
down and because that was the problem is I think they stretched out a lot. Because I remember talking to a lot of Cubans being, oh, that place is whatever. And I remember my dad talking about that place from years ago. So I don't know.
Nice. Hey, let's take our second break, and before we do, I'm going to talk about our friends at Batch New Southern Kitchen and Tap, and now not only the one here in Fort Lauderdale at 525 North Federal Highway, which I went to this past Sunday and had a fantastic brunch, but now added to the Batch Southern Kitchen stable is their location in Delray Beach in the Delray Marketplace, just west of the Turnpike on Atlantic Avenue there in Lyons Road. Formerly, it had been one of their gastropubs, limited menu and more prone towards the drinking and sports bar activity. Now they've converted it, and the conversion is complete. They're going to be opening tonight
Nice.
with a VIP celebration, and then I guess open to the general public starting tomorrow. Batch New Southern Kitchen and Tap, all your favorites: chicken and waffles, the great jambalaya, shrimp and grits, really good burgers there too. But they
That
have
brisket sandwich was top notch
and
too.
you love the Cobb, the Southern Cobb salad.
That
I
was
had
great.
Yes.
on Sunday we had the grilled peaches and burrata salad. That was a big hit. The
And that
grilled
thing
peaches.
with the corn on the cob, that vegetarian.
Oh
dish,
yeah,
that
those
was great.
corn ribs they call it. They got all
Those
kinds
are
of good
great.
vegan
Great stuff.
options there. Again, so now they've got also a location up in West Palm Beach, Clematis, but we've liked to focus on the one in Fort
More
Lauderdale,
Broward related. Yeah.
525 North Federal Highway. But again, now go check out the Batch New Southern Kitchen.
They're doing redfish
That
too,
is
right?
open.
The redfish is
yeah,
fantastic.
Blackened redfish is great. Free parking in the garage right next to the side street there at the Fort Lauderdale Batch. The Delray one in the Delray Marketplace, plenty of free parking out and about in that whole complex. Go out there, check it out, and tell them the Lunchbox sent you.
All right, coming up more. How the wings? The wings are always great here. Another
They're really
underrated
good.
item.
They're
The
really
chicken
good.
wings. And is Brian still doing these specials? Because the football season's on tap. I was thinking maybe that would be the ticket, right? You get a pizza and some wings,
This
a
place
couple of cheesesteaks for the football crowd at your house. Wow.
It's the best. I mean, their pizzas are solid. Their cheesesteaks, or now you get the chopped cheese, the subs, and the wings. I mean, this is all you need for a football Saturday or
If
Sunday.
you're having a football party and you don't feel like cooking and making a big mess, I mean, and the prices are extremely reasonable
Great.
here.
No,
So
and now I see that I call him the mayor of Restaurantville, Rich B, a former colleague at the Sun Sentinel.
Nice.
Has just walked in the door, getting a little lunch, saying hi to Brian,
Nice.
and we got
get on here. It's like a Sun Sentinel reunion.
Yeah,
the
you got
Sun Sentinel.
Sarnie.
We're just missing Bonnie out
Bonnie
there.
took that picture down, by the way.
Bonnie, by the way, I will
Although the new picture that's floating is Sarnie with two babes.
she's so nice.
I
will
put that up
actually
the other day.
be-
It came up on my
I
Facebook.
will be seeing Bonnie in the flesh. I'm going to be
Yeah, it's so great.
visiting her with Val next week, 2 weeks.
What brought that on, man?
Well, we're going to a family friend wedding of Val's up in actually my old stomping grounds of Spartanburg, South Carolina, which is
yeah,
only
nice.
about an hour away from Bonnie. So we're going to be
Returning to your roots.
saving some hotel money and staying with Bonnie.
Oh, you
a couple
actually are
of
staying
nights.
with her?
And
Oh,
I'm
really?
actually going to be broadcasting a lunchbox while you guys are at Gulfstream on that Friday. I think it's the 19th or 20th. I will be doing my bit from the house, the new house
Bonnie.
of Bonnie.
Put her on the
Patient.
show, please.
Yeah, you
Oh,
should
yeah.
get Bonnie on. She's
She's the
never been
biggest
on.
fan of the Lunchbox and all of you guys. I mean, she must have been wonderful to work with because she actually
was
liked
great.
all of
She-
you slime balls.
As cranky as I could be, she was the complete.
Oh, I
polar
would imagine
opposite.
you would pitch a fit if somebody cut like a half inch off your collar.
Oh, I
one
was
day
the worst at the
because they
beginning.
couldn't fit it in. It was going to have to be carried over into the classifieds. And you're like, what? That was the best line I wrote.
That was
know,
probably the
but
anti-us.
You know what happened after 30 years in the newspaper business?
You didn't care anymore.
I couldn't care less. All right. Yeah, we'll be back with more on the Lunchbox after these words. Best restaurants in South Florida? Casa D'Angelo is always at the top of my list. First class dining, top flight service, elegant atmosphere, and chef founder Angelo Ilia is legendary. The flagship in Fort Lauderdale has been serving the finest Italian cuisine since 1997, with other locations in Boca Raton and Aventura. As Angelo himself says, they have an unwavering commitment to unparalleled quality with meticulous attention to details. It's so good, with house-made pastas, pristine seafood, unique meats like elk chops and bison, and seasonal specialties including fragrant fresh truffles from Italy. All locations open 7 days for dinner. Reservations recommended for a special occasion or any occasion. Casa D'Angelo. Tell them Mike Mayo sent you. If you're looking for an exquisite sushi experience, Kaizen Sushi Bar and Grill in Fort Lauderdale is the place to go. 5640 North Federal Highway, just north of Commercial Boulevard. Chef owner Hui Lam, he's a sushi savant, slicing and serving pristine fish and seafood flown in directly from Japan and around the world. Nigiri, sashimi, special rolls, and omakase dinners. He's ruined me from going anywhere else. It's that good. Open 7 days for dinner and also for lunch. Even if you're not a sushi fan, they have great cooked options, including steaks, chops, rice and noodles, and other Japanese dishes. It's fantastic. For reservations and information, go to kaizenflorida.com. Tell them Mike Mayo and the Lunchbox sent you. Delicious Mexican food with innovative twists. Margaritas with a medley of tongue-tingling flavors. I'm talking about Taco Craft, Taqueria, and Tequila Bar. The place to go on Taco Tuesday and every day. It's located at 510 North Federal and Highway in Fort Lauderdale, and also in Lauderdale by the Sea at Plantation Walk, and soon in Coral Springs. Taco Craft has specials every day, including bottomless drinks for a Sunday brunch, and Taco Tuesdays with their $4 premium tacos, including their new birria tacos with bone marrow broth. Oh, it's so good. They've even made a taco lover out of me, and they've got so much more, including fajitas, that open-faced smashed cheeseburger tortilla that's new, and a guacamole sample that's an explosion of flavors. The kitchen is open late. There's delivery and takeout. For more information, go to tacocraft.com. Tell them Mike Mayo, the Lunchbox, sent you. From a scratch kitchen, delicious drinks and house-made spirits from a craft bar. A great vibe inside and out with a spacious patio. I'm talking about Batch New Southern Kitchen and Tap, Fort Lauderdale, in the heart of the city at 525 North Federal Highway. It's open 7 days for lunch, dinner, and weekend brunch with classics like fried chicken and waffles and shrimp and grits, and creative items like pecan-crusted salmon and a fried green tomato BLT. And the drinks? Smooth sipping and so good. There's convenient free parking and a garage next door, happy hour at the bar, an entire patio, 4 to 7 Monday to Friday, and live music every Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. It's pet and people friendly and with cozy fire pits for when the temperature dips. For reservations and more information, go to batchsouthernkitchen.com. If you like seafood in a comfortable setting, outdoors, even keel fish shack at the corner of A1A and Commercial Boulevard in Lauderdale by the Sea, and also now with a new location on Las Olas Boulevard. Those are my spots. Upscale food and a down-home setting. The chef owners, Dave and Brad, do a terrific job with all the seafood classics that you want. They have the best grilled oysters in town, bang bang shrimp, lobster rolls, and deli fish specials. They also have weekend brunch Saturday and Sunday. They have deli happy hour 4 to 7, and they also have other weekly specials like mussels on Monday and oysters on Tuesday. Go to Even Keel Fish Shack and tell them that the Lunchbox sent you. Hey, it's Mike Mayo. When the Brooklyn boy in me wants a good bagel with Nova or some matzo ball soup, homemade knishes, or a great deli pastrami sandwich on rye, you know where I go? Grandpa's Cafe in Dania Beach. It's been around a long time, an institution, but a little over a year ago, a pair of New Yorkers came in, bought it, and refurbished the place. It's beautiful, and they are now serving great breakfast, brunch, lunch. They've got the omelets. They've got eggs Benedict. They've got all kinds of great baked goods like rugelach. Grandpa's is just off Federal Highway on Southwest 1st Street in Dania Beach. It's open 7 days. Go in there, tell them that the Lunchbox sent you. A sophisticated setting. I'm talking about Corvina Seafood Grill. It's at 110 Plaza Real South in Boca Raton, just south of Palmetto Park Road. It's the place to go for the freshest and local seafood and fish, some of it with a Peruvian twist like their great ceviches. It's open 7 days for dinner. They also have happy hours 7 days a week. You don't want to miss it. It's a great place. CorvinaBocaRaton.com for more information and reservations. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you. We're back on the Lunchbox at Wicked Cheesesteaks, 4824 North Federal Highway. If you haven't been here yet, what are you waiting for? I mean, it is delicious stuff. I'm up to the chicken wing portion. I don't know if you've gotten one yet.
No, I'm okay. I'm going to pass
You're
on
going to
that.
pass on the wings?
Well,
Like
I didn't
great
get my
buffalo
walk
sauce.
of life in yet, so I don't want to be too overstuck when I hit the path.
Now you sound like me when I'm trying to do a keto diet. Come on. Just
No,
have
no,
a
you
chicken
just if
wing.
you eat too much, you go for
I
a
mean,
walk.
too much food and when
All
it's
right,
1,000
all right.
degrees outside.
Well, all I know
not
is
good,
delicious wings. And Lubie, Cracker Jack production staff here, he actually was able to download a photo, and we could show you the winning Cuban sandwich from Sandwich de Miami.
It's a nice
the winner?
Cuban.
That's the winner.
That's how it should look.
It's like a
That's
nice solid
proper
Cuban.
flat.
It's flat, but also
yet
has a lot of
hefty,
meat to it.
A
Yeah.
lot of meat, not chintzy with the
You can
meat.
see the pickles.
Flat ham, which they
Nice
roast
yellow mustard.
in-house, roast the pork in-house,
Oh,
slice
really?
it thin.
Good for them.
So yeah, at the Latin
Pickles.
America cafeteria, they had those stacked up, but before they pressed them.
Oh,
And it
wow.
was really I mean, just impressive to see.
Nice.
I don't
Look in the window there and
know
see
if-
like 40 of these piled on top
I don't
of
know if
each
they
other.
make each one to order and slice it to order there at Sandwich. I've never been. I've got to get there.
Yeah, that sounds
And they
interesting.
also marinate their own pickles. So they're doing all these like very chefy touches
nice.
to the traditional classic Cuban sandwich. Congrats to them.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And I think that was Mike Stocker that took that picture. He is
And your friend.
a friend from the
Yeah, I
Sun
love the
Sentinel.
stalkers.
Always good. Hey, a couple of things. I want to welcome back to the Lunchbox fold after a little summer break. The boys at Delaware Chicken and Seafood Market.
nice.
Oh, sweet.
I was in there this morning because they just did a little refurbishment, a little rehab. They put in a new floor, and it looks great.
Nice.
I sent some pictures to Lubie earlier, but makes the place look brighter and more spacious. And I saw, well, first of all, who's working the counter now, but kind of the semi-retired Doug.
Oh, that's funny.
Oh, yeah.
Carter is there. Saw him. He's like hooking out fryers
Really?
and chicken parts for customers. And then I saw Gene, and he's looking forward to. We're going to be
Nice.
getting back in there on the 17th, Tuesday the 17th, doing a little high holiday,
Yeah,
Jewish
yeah.
holiday edition. And then, believe it or not, right around the corner, this is my favorite show of the year, Defo.
Oh,
October
Your grandpa's
17th.
matzo ball soups.
no,
No,
I forgot about it
September.
too. I had forgot about it.
Yeah, we're gonna do September 17th. We love the Jewish holidays, and they do a great job having some of the traditional favorites there. October 17th. You know what October 15th is, right?
October 15th,
Where he
tax
snores.
day. Yeah, for
No,
me.
no, but yeah, yeah.
It's
Where
I'll give you a
Mayo's
hint.
snoring began.
Oh, the schnorring?
No, what's this?
Stone crab.
Stone crabs. Oh,
Crab.
yeah.
He's
Claws.
already scheduled
Oh,
the
wait a
stone
minute. You
crab
already
show.
are like,
Yeah, we're all set. October 17th. 2
you've
days.
gotten worse over the years as opposed to
It's
better.
way
because,
worse.
yeah.
I consider myself better.
He's
We're going to
already
be
scheduled it.
easing into
I mean, you got a pocket full of cash, and then you're snoring for stone
the
crabs.
first week of stone crab season, heading into the first weekend when people can get their stone crabs. We're going to be there that Thursday, October 17th.
Oh, and Delaware?
Yes,
Delaware, yeah,
that's
yeah,
when
yeah.
I'm going to be trying to, set the new that Guinness World
You're
Records
setting the
lady
hook now.
who was there at the chestnut match for the woman who stuffed 20 pounds of
Oh, the
watermelon in her
watermelon?
face.
Yeah.
I'm going to go for the Guinness World Record of eating the most stone crab claws in an hour. Do you think I can
Has
do it?
anybody
Yeah, I'm
at
sure they
Delaware
want this.
approved that
I'm sure they
No,
want.
plan of
they can
attack?
even
They
hand
couldn't
it-
sue
hand-
be the tuna?
Hand me a bill because I'll have the money at that
Oh,
point.
beautiful.
So that's good on them. And
Segretto's going to want to be a part of
yeah,
that.
that's
of
a
course.
Segretto
I don't
talk
think
show.
he's back in
He
town.
may not
on
come back till
17th.
January with the temperatures he has versus the temperatures we have.
Yeah, Tony is up in Vermont.
I don't think he's running anytime
ensconced.
soon.
He's
like
drowning in maple
60s.
syrup. Does he bathe in maple syrup too? Or?
He never mentions maple syrup. You know what? Maybe that's not a thing in Vermont.
I think he
It may be just
It's
a
supposed
tourist
to be.
thing. No?
Yeah,
should
maybe,
be. I bet he's
maybe.
tapping trees all day long looking for
He couldn't go outside today. He sent us a picture. There
Can
were
you
bears
imagine?
in his yard, like
That's a
4
visual.
bears.
like Tony and his flannel
This
shirt
was literally his.
with a hammer, like putting something in
He
a
just
tree.
had bears
That's
He just
Tony's
had
front yard. He
bears,
has
like,
4 bears
in front of
there.
his house. Like
Yeah.
you can see like this is his house, and there's bears there.
Wow. Tony's gone from covering the Dolphins
Yeah.
to the Bears. That's really something.
I thought he saw Mike Ditka running around.
Hey, one more bit of news that we didn't get to yesterday, but I guess it's saddened a lot of people. The Downtowner Saloon in
Yeah.
Fort Lauderdale. It's been there on the south side of the New River, right by the Andrews Avenue Bridge, but it's been there for over 30 years, maybe 35 or even 40. And there's also behind it, I guess, a private event space called the Maxwell Room that I have never been in for any occasion, but they're same property, same owner, and they announced on Labor Day, I guess not so ironically enough, considering apparently the staff was not informed before
No,
the owner allegedly
Oh, really?
posted
Just
it on
pulled up
social
state?
media
Yeah.
before informing the staff. Now, this is what some of the staff was alleging. I didn't hear the owner's perspective, but basically he said that as of October 6th will be their last day. Didn't really give a reason, just said it was after much careful deliberation. The only deliberation I can think of is how big the pile of cash was, because that is some valuable riverside.
You believe
property.
there's like the Broward County Jail right there on
Yeah.
the waterfront?
As somebody
Who would have thought of that? I mean,
Well, that's it was a good line because the guy who wrote the story for the Sun Sentinel, Doug Lyons, basically wrote that that whole area now is being redeveloped. A lot of valuable waterfront riverside property, and it says it's right next to a tax-funded gated community.
Downtown was good though. I used to catch a lot of bands over there. They were always very good about the live local music scene. Many of my friends played there, and we used to go out and catch them. They always had decent food, good vibe, good service. It was kind of a nice party place in that area. So an iconic place, and they were home to some very large gatherings on special occasions and stuff, and did a really good job. I think they even had a Lubie trivia competition down there. Not with Lubie, but
no, they did.
I know they did a lot of promotions, and they seem to be a very, very popular.
I think Lubie is performing some religious ritual here. He's washing his hands. Is this like the
no, this is
like for the Jewish New Year?
I need to wash my hands.
I see water everywhere.
Unlike you, he doesn't like to soil the equipment, man.
I tend to soil everything.
Soil and green.
No, it's sad. And look, when we posted the news and reposted the messages from the ownership
Many
of the
tributes.
downtown, a lot of people, sad tributes, memories, all that kind of thing. And of course, you've always got the 10 or 12 idiots who try to politicize everything and say it's Biden's fault, or this is what happens when you have inflation, or and it's
obviously
like,
well-informed people.
The restaurant business is always what 5? Isn't it like 5% survive? Like the downtown.
Yeah, it's always been a tough business, and the problem is everybody. We didn't know what it was. We didn't know if it was a landlord dispute. We don't know if the guy owns the building and has an offer he can't refuse. It's just pure speculation.
Maybe
so
he just
why
got tired of it.
speculate?
Well, if you want to be political, which I think is stupid, the state we reside in, it's not Biden's fault. I'll tell you that.
Well,
the
no,
issues we have in this state
insurance-
is not Biden's
The
fault.
insurance issues,
Which is
a
what's screwing a lot of
state-regulated
restaurants.
problem that's not federally.
I don't think it's
regulated.
political. I think that's dumb. But if you're being stupid and being political, you're picking the wrong
Another
person.
ownership change that seemed to be greeted with favorable reaction was Packy's, which is another
Packy's solid.
music destination. They have
Solid.
bands
Okay.
there a lot.
Nice.
It was kind of an interesting setup, and apparently people had really soured on the previous owner, and he decided to sell the place, new ownership, and there was much optimism that it was going to bounce back and be the fun destination that it had been in the past, which I'd been in there, and they did a nice job.
Well, they're still going. It's just an ownership change. And
Ownership change,
we
and
wish them
everybody
well.
is sort of
As-
thinking, hey, if this guy brings it back to what it was, then that's a good thing.
I really
Yeah.
love Packy's.
What was, I guess, interesting or unusual about the downtowner announcement is usually, if somebody's going to pull the plug, it's like, boom, this is our last day. Because a lot of times it's unusual where, especially if you haven't informed the staff beforehand, that you're saying, oh, we're closing our doors on October 6th.
Oh,
Hey,
geez.
all you workers that we didn't tell, come back to work for the next 3 weeks. And it's like
Weird,
either you
man.
got a really sour, pissed off staff. People are already scrambling for other jobs, and they'll leave the second they can get another job.
Yeah.
So, and again, people are going to be flocking there for the closing, like farewells.
Yeah.
But then, if the staff is already leaving, who's going to be, serving all these people? And number two, the employees that are left behind, I guess, with that, sour taste in their
What
mouths.
service are you getting?
I don't want to cast any aspersions, but then there tends to maybe be a little bit more employee hijinks, shenanigans.
Dissension.
The people, just
just robbing people.
just doing stuff. Yeah.
It's an interesting thing. What
Yeah,
I've heard
thought
from
about
other
that.
owners is like, if you're going to pull the plug, you just
do
pull
it.
the Band-Aid off the wound and say, we're closing as of tomorrow or
There it
today.
is.
So it was unusual. We'll see how it goes there at the Downtowner for the next few weeks. October 6th. A few weeks, it's a whole month. So well, good luck to everybody involved. Now, we really do hope that all the employees find jobs as soon as possible. The only bright spot is it is heading into high season, and a lot of places
they
do
should
seem to be
Be needed.
hiring. So
There are a lot of places around there. I mean, that whole thing, if you're taking like the water taxi and stopping at these restaurants, it's kind of cool. And there are a lot of places in that area around the downtown.
There's a lot of new places, trendy places, a lot of development going on in that whole corridor. All right, that's going to do it for today. Thank you to Brian for accommodating us.
Glad he
And-
was busy. I mean,
Yeah.
Oh no,
that
it's,
makes me
I'd
so
love
happy.
to see a busy place, especially after the summertime. People are getting back into their normal work school grooves after summer vacation.
Sun
So-
Sentinel reunion party here.
Yeah,
too.
Sun Sentinel reunion.
With
Always
your
good to
man, Rich,
Sarnie.
Sarnie, man.
Rich B is chowing down on a I don't know what he's got. He's got a sandwich.
Yeah, it's
Worked
a
at both
cheesesteak.
hands.
That's a
He's got
cheesesteak.
it working. He's a big Southport raw bar guy too, and
They do a
hopefully
good
we're
job.
going to get into Southport for their 50th anniversary celebration in October. got to talk to Buddy a little bit about that. Tomorrow, we're going to be at a new place for us, Butcher and the Bar, all the way up in Boynton Beach, because it's a great little place. They got a good bar, and they also do all their like house-made meats and sausages, hot dogs. They make their own hot dogs, sausages, and like cured meats. Italian like porchetta sandwiches are great, and they're also hosting and organizing a new like bar battle competition. I think they're calling it Beach Battles. It's going to be starting next Monday. I'm going to be one of the judges, so we're going to talk to Eric Anderson, who's the proprietor there at Butcher of the Bar, Boynton Beach, tomorrow about all those great upcoming drinking events where there'll also be food to sop up all the alcohol. All right, that's going to do it for today.
It, man.
Defo.